Let me see the question. A question for Arjen. High recycling ambitions imply clean material cycles. This was maybe not explicitly addressed. Let's look at the PVC chain. How can we get to clean material cycles?
Well, first of all, you have to look at what you are doing at production. One thing I did not insist very much on in the presentation of our voluntary initiative is the sustainable use of additives. Nowadays, we know that more and more chemical substances are restricted or subject to authorization or classified as substances of very high concern under REACH. So we have to look at that, to take that into account, but also to try to look further in the future, because when we are talking about applications for long life, like automotive or electric and electronic, where indeed development times and the time during which you want to use the production is years, maybe tens of years, you have to try to look far in the future. So what we are trying to do is to foresee as much as possible, because it's difficult, of course, which additives, which substances might be or become problematic in the future. And to advise, because you cannot, as a manufacturer, tell the converters not to use a chemical substance, that would be forbidden under the competition rules, but you can give advice that maybe it's better to think about using an alternative. I think that's where it starts. Now, of course, when you come to recycling, you have to deal with these substances when they are present, because we have not yet found a way to extract them. Maybe what you are doing for flame retardants will also eventually be feasible for plastic additives. I hope so. But at the moment, there is no real solution to extract it without destroying the molecule.
Would you say it's actually for the scientific community and entrepreneurs really a topic of interest to develop new technologies?
Absolutely. There are several research groups working on that, I know. For the time being, you can do it on the lab scale, but economically, it doesn't work out yet.
Okay.
But of course, it's a case of many things which are under development. So I won't say it will never work. I hope it will work eventually, but at the moment it's not possible. So you have to deal with these additives as they are, and the way we have found is to make indeed a risk assessment, as has been mentioned earlier on, to try to recycle them, because we think it is resource efficient to do that, but of course you have to do that in a way which guarantees the safe handling and safety of the environment. So we have to find a right compromise, a pragmatic solution.
Can I add to that maybe? I can add to that, but like I said, the tool which I presented earlier on, which is related to additives which are in plastic and can be hazardous, we have found with this tool that you can, of course, select a number of flame retardants, in this case, which are compatible with the sustainable future and with the renewable plastics. And that's the way maybe forward, to looking at these chemicals in a way that the risk should be controlled and try to propose that to the downstream users, to your customers, in a way we did in a simplified way, because it's a very difficult material, a very difficult, complex material, which is not easy to understand for the supply chain.
Thank you for this addition, Sander. I will go to Mr. Plesnik. The question is, what do you consider the biggest challenge in your business? I would say, what do you consider the biggest challenge and opportunity in your business? Today, during the coffee, I was walking around and I heard some people saying, hey, the material, what they're doing with the material is very interesting, could be useful for us in Holland. So how do you see your market? You can answer in Slovak if you want.
Yeah. Hello?
Challenges and opportunities. Yeah.
Vrátim ešte k tej poznámke. Iste ste postrehli v mojej prezentácii, že som použil ten slogan overená kvalita materiálov z automobilového priemyslu pre novú kvalitu životného prostredia. My vychádzame pri recyklácii z tej základnej premisy, že výrobca automobilu je povinný deklarovať, že ním vyrobené auto je po skončení života recyklovateľné. Teda že berieme materiál, ktorý je už kvalitatívne overený, nám umožňuje zjednodušiť tú marketingovú pozíciu, presvedčovať ľudí, prečo to môže byť kvalitný a fungujúci materiál. Nikto dneska nepochybuje o tom, že textil v jeho aute sa dá dlhodobo užívať, je mechanicky odolný, chemicky odolný. A teraz k tej druhej poznámke. Ja som na záver prezentácie povedal, nám môže byť úplne jedno, či to bude diesel, či to bude benzín, či to bude elektrika, lebo zatiaľ nikto nič lepšie ako technický textil do konštrukcie autu nevymyslel. Naopak, plastikárom sme ukradli textilácii, teraz poviem, časť plastu, ktorý sa používala v podblatníkoch. Dneska podblatník, teda tá tlmiaca časť medzi kolesom a karosériou, je vlastne lisovaný textil. To nie je už čistý plast, jak to bolo kedysi. A tá výzva je práve v tom, že jedno aj takéto podujatie by malo otvoriť stredu ten vstup do sveta. Naše heslo je Poznaj svet stredu a my by sme boli radi, aby svet spoznával stred. Sme radi, že naše medzinárodné prezentácie na výstave železničnej technike v Berlíne 2016 otvorili cestu dnes už do Kanady. Tento mesiac sa rokuje v Rusku o produktoch, ktoré sú postavené na strede. A budem rád, keď každý z vás budete mať čo najviac otázok smerujúcich k možnostiam využitia.
I think we all share your ambition, and for everybody interested, I would say make contact with you. I think we are running a little bit out of time, and the last question is, of course, for a lady. That's the way it should be. So, in lightweighting cars, we used aluminum castings for wheels, engine blocks, and transmission. What's the future? The future applications, how do you see that? Can you have an answer in 1 minute? I know you can tell so much.
Is it on? Yeah? Yes, you are right. So far, it's mainly in castings where aluminum applications have been used. It's also in casting where most of the recycled aluminum has been ended up. But I think in the future it will be much more in the hood of the car, flat roll products, which will be recycled, and it will also be in extruded products, which also creates challenges in aluminum industry, of course, with regard to sorting of 5,000, 6,000 alloys, things like that. But I think we will see it much more in what we call rolled products, which is an extruded and flat roll products.
So that's a development to follow. Thank you very much. A very big round of applause for this fantastic panel. Thank you. So you can walk back to your place. Then we immediately continue with the next session, which is about financing the transition to a circular automotive sector. As you know, access to financing has been identified as a major barrier for circular economy initiatives. And if we talk about financial institutions, we've seen a tightening banking regulations. Now, what's the problem with these circular economy business models? They have a far longer time focus to break even. We have business models from selling products to providing services that changes the cash flow, that changes the risk models. In remanufacturing models, giving applications a second, a third, a fourth life, you don't see it back in your accounting rules. So that poses some challenges. And let's talk about the bigger picture. The external effects, like carbon emissions, they're not appreciated in financial models. So today, money makes the world go round. So which role can the financial institutions play? Now, to test if financial institutions can be an enabler of a circular transition, we have a little poll. It has to do with trust. Can we have the poll, please? So prepare your Slido. Two very simple questions. It's about your trust in institutions. Which institutions you trust most? Government, financial institutions, or private companies? Another 5 seconds. Another 3 seconds. So we see private companies coming up strongly. And let's end the vote. So we see financial institutions at the bottom, together with government. Most trust is in private companies. So let's reverse the question. Which institutions you trust less? Can we have a new vote, please? Which institutions do you trust the least? Government and private companies strong contenders for the moment? Government losing out? Who wants to win this prize? Let's do 5 seconds, 4 seconds, 3 seconds, and 2 seconds. So this is interesting. We have private companies who are trust the most and also the least. This is one thing I learned, is that polling is interesting. It probably explains things like why we have Brexit and why people vote for Trump, because this is all about polling. But this is, I think, a nice introduction for, let's say, our first speaker. And our first speaker, Massimiliano Tellini. He's Chief Innovation Officer of Intesa San Paolo, which is a financial institute, but also a circular economy think tank, according to me. Give him a warm hand.
Thanks a lot. We start with a short video.
Today, a car remains parked for 92% of its lifetime. Offices and workplaces are used less than 50% of their good time. More than 30% of food production is wasted along the supply chain. We can foresee a future where by 2050, global population will grow by more than 2 billion. But in the oceans, there will be more plastic than fish by volume. We need to redesign existing products and industrial ecosystems, switching to an alternative model that decouples economic development from the exploitation of finite natural resources. Today, thanks to the activities of our Innovation Centre, we are ready to meet the challenges of circular economy, which is a new paradigm for economic and social development, restorative and regenerative by design. Since 2015, we're the only financial services global partner of the Ellen MacArthur Foundation, the most relevant player promoting the transition towards the circular economy. We're exploring new business applications in collaboration with our partners. Finance plays a key role in supporting investments for the transformation of current linear business models into circular ones by rethinking the approach to risk and value creation. That's why a circular economy for us is a matter of strategic innovation, not just sustainability. This is an amazing collective journey. Welcome on board.
So, thanks for the invitation, of course. Thanks to the organizing committee, and it's a great pleasure to be with you this morning. I will be very brief, just because I think we had already a great kind of material to think about. Just one quick note. As you see at the bottom corner, I do work for a financial institution. I have the privilege to work within the innovation center of it. We are 100 people full-time devoted to innovation. This is key. Intesa San Paolo is fully committed, and we have, of course, our great subsidiary here, VU Banca, in assisting companies in becoming circular. That's why we believe circular economy is more innovation, strategic innovation in the business model transition rather than just sustainability. And this is why, as you see, we are working within an ecosystem, and this is the approach that we do take when we do look at customers, when we do look at how value chain across industries are made. So we want to work, of course, within this ecosystem. We work with universities, we work with clients, we work with institutions. As the video says, circular economy for us is a collective journey. Or we do this together, or we don't do this at all. The invention that this is one of the first approach they can have, but what is important for us is the value chain. Along the supply chain of those companies that we can realize synergies, that we can create occasions for growth, where we can create innovation for companies that want to join this transition. Another company that is not on the slide is OSV, Open Source Vehicle. This is an Italian startup. We help them. They are now positively disrupting the automotive industry. They made possible to assemble a car in 2 hours, open source. And this is now going mainstream with major automotive companies. Ford, many of you maybe already know why it's important to have this cross-industry collaboration and open innovation platform. We are not just talking about automotive parts, we are talking about different industries embracing the challenge to work together. Welcome to chemicals, of course, as we saw this morning, automotive and other industries working together to make sure that the consumer is at the center of this revolution, not just only companies. I think that already the industry has made great progress. We can do even much better, of course, but what I think is central in our conversation is the role of consumers, realizing that we are all citizens. So what's the price of one of the best products when then this price is not fully reflected in what we as citizens we do pay? So Enel, great utility company, Italian giant, electrification again. So they provided more than 500,000 recharge. They are now providing infrastructure. So again, the built environment, public transportation, this is circular economy in automotive for us. Is a cross-industry collaboration, is contamination, is the integration of players, is the integration of modes of transportation, is integration of behaviors. So me as a citizen, I would like to have access to the service of mobility, not just own a car anymore. I'm 41, thinking about the new millennials. So access to the service is much desired compared to ownership of the asset and so on. And so if you can combine this kind of new trends, cars made with, of course, composite modular materials, and transportation, public transportation made smart, here you are achieving some of the major results that the circular economy transition promises. So this is us. We are having, of course, a comprehensive approach to circular economy, not just in the automotive, also on food, on construction, that, by the way, I was mentioning before in the report by Systemic, have been identified as the major components of the transition, given that they wait for 60% of an average European spending, European citizen spending, and 80% of resource consumption. But then we understand that culture is important. That's why Intesa is behind the very first master on bio and circular economy. Intesa Sanpaolo is now sitting within the expert on financing the circular economy of the European Commission. We have been with the United Nations Economic Commission 3 weeks ago in Geneva, and so on. We are now playing a role that a financial institution is supposed to play. And just because I see the time is going, what we are doing as a company, ourselves, we are organizing to be, of course, coherent. We are organizing a car sharing for our own employees. Our pilot is going to be launched in the next 2 weeks in Milan. 90 colleagues of ours will be involved in what we do call a car sharing for employees. This is, of course, maximum capacity example, but moreover, this startup has been able to introduce for us a great concept that we want to share with our colleagues and customers. So, in brief, this is a collective action for change. I believe that, of course, the Slovak Republic can, of course, be a champion in this. Intesa Sanpaolo and VBanca are here to help, and of course, join us if you want to have a conversation about this fantastic transition. Thanks, sir.
Thank you, Massimiliano. Your commitment to circular economy gives me a warm feeling and a feeling of trust. So that's very good. We move on to our second speaker, and that's a speaker from ING. And ING, I don't know if you're aware, they have produced really high quality reports on financing the circular economy. And we are very pleased that Mr. Armand Ferreira, Director of Sustainable Finance, is with us to give us the highlights. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Indeed, I'm part of the Sustainable Finance team. So within ING, we have several departments working on sustainability. We have a global team of sustainability, talking to stakeholders, etc. My team talks to clients, so we're more on the commercial side, and we try to work together with clients to look at opportunities. In the sustainable area, and more specifically today, we'll talk a little bit about the circular economy. Of course, there are many definitions on circular. Today we'll focus on the definition looking at maximize use of equipment, of consumer goods, and retaining value. This picture will look familiar to you. We're of course talking to our clients to see how they can go from the linear economy to the circular one. And I'm glad to say that many of the clients that we talk to are already thinking about this process or are already advanced in this process. Only the financial side is many times a challenge. I'll go into that. And the other one is the marketing side, because many of these clients, and I'm not talking now about the very large corporates like Philips and Heineken, etc. I'm talking about the smaller initiatives and some of them here in the room that have great innovative ideas, that have a great product, but don't know exactly how to sell it, how to market